All right. Call to order. Flag salute. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Open Public Meetings Act statement, New Jersey Open Public Meetings Law was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In accordance with the provisions of the Act, the Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting to be published by having the date, time, and place thereof posted at the Augusta, Branchville, Lafayette, and Sussex post offices, and notice sent to the New Jersey Herald, the Star Ledger, and the clerks of the boroughs of Branchville and Sussex, and the townships of Frankfort, Lafayette, and Walnut. Mission statement. High Point Regional High School, in partnership with staff, family, and community, is dedicated to the quest for individual excellence. By fostering high standards of achievement, we prepare students to become responsible and productive members of a diverse society. Roll call.
Mrs. Anderson?
Here.
Mr. Ancliffe?
Here.
Mr. Dunn?
Here.
Mr. Kehoe is not here. Ms. Keimer?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Notaro?
Here.
Mr. Bealey?
Here.
Mr. Boyku?
Here.
Dr. Ripley?
Here. Executive session, a motion will be made at the High Point Regional High School Board of Education enter executive session to provide an update on personnel negotiations and legal items which are exempt from public participation pursuant to New Jersey Public Law 1975, Chapter 231, Open Public Meetings Act. Any discussions held by the board which need not remain confidential will be made public when appropriate. Minutes of the executive session will not be disclosed until the need for confidentiality no longer exists. The board will reconvene in public session in the cafeteria annex at the conclusion of the executive session. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Need a motion to return to public session? Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Move on to the approval of minutes for regular meeting minutes of January 16, 2018, and the executive session minutes of January 16, 2018. Any motion?
Motion. Second.
Any discussion? All right, roll call.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Ancliffe?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe?
Present.
Ms. Keimer?
Here.
Mr. Miller?
Here.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Boyku?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Here. On presentations for student council, Alyssa Foster, Speaker of the House. No student council? HPRHS, Ms. Mancuso,
Yes.
you may take the podium.
First of all, I'd like to thank you all for your service. This is very trying as far as volunteering your service, and I do appreciate it, and so do our staff. I'd like to thank Dr. Ripley for spending time with us on last Wednesday, Ash Wednesday. It was marked as far as him being receptive to the staff and our concerns for discipline. He listened to us, and as we were sitting there giving solutions and conversing, we got the text that the Florida incident was occurring. Very upsetting. But we do appreciate Dr. Ripley listening to us, and we know that he has said that he would be telling you what our concerns were and how we want to go further. Today, I met with Becky Sarno. I love you. Our VP of the HPA, we sat with John Calamay with our concerns about safety. Because, you know, it takes all of us. There's three of us. There is you, there's Dr. Ripley, there's administration, there's four, can't count here. And there's the HPA. And we are open to discussions as far as suggestions. You can never be too safe. And we are surrounded by experts, but nobody has the answer. But I think we all can improve. So we are open to that, and I thank Mr. Talame for meeting with us today, and he expressed that he was going to consult with Dr. Ripley and which would give our concerns to you folks, which I know we're all here for the same reason. We love our children. And there's no level of degree. I just want to make a personal note. I had a very distressed night last night, and I've been here 17 years. My daughter was choking last night. She was playing with her twin brother with swords, fake swords. And she had lodged in her throat a clementine. And I knew exactly what to do. The blonde hair mommy knew exactly what to do. But let me tell you something, nothing that you ever want to go through. So thank you for High Point. I was trained through High Point back in the day to know how to do the Heimlich. It took 6 thrusts to get that clementine shot in my forehead. And she didn't cry. Her brother cried because he thought he caused it. But thank you. But we are all here to protect our children, all our children. And I appreciate it. And I'm very proud to be the president of this association of teachers. And who will be honored tonight? So I won't take the thunder. But thank you. We are open to all your suggestions. We'll be willing to sit and talk and give our suggestions so we can make this a safer place, because it can never be too safe. Thank you very much.
Principal report. Mr. Talman, what update us on Facebook?
Thank you, Mr. Bewley. Good evening, board. Good to see everybody today. I have some things to discuss, but first I'd like to recognize these two fine individuals that are sitting next to me. I don't know if everybody can see the podium. I know we're going to stand up if we could. Yes, please. And actually, maybe can we have Becky and Jack stand over there? Because I like to embarrass them fully. So, as you know, we have recently been through the nomination process for Governor's Educator of the Year and Governor's Educational Services Professional of the Year. And our two nominees could not be more well-deserving. We have Jacqueline Rivera here and Becky Sarno. Jacqueline Rivera is our speech teacher here at High Point. And I just found out, I believe somebody at this table was a speech teacher for a long period of time. Becky's mother and Becky's husband. And obviously these are the three individuals that run the household. I can tell that right now. Just like mine at home. Jackie is a speech teacher, and what I can say about Jacqueline, just having seen her in action myself, both in the classroom and outside the classroom, is her ability to build relationships with students. Students actually thrive, and they want to go to speech class. They want to see Ms. Rivera. They want to get better. They want to better themselves because of what she does every single day. She's an outstanding resource to our staff and to our students. She's used in other areas like public speaking as well as the speech therapy. And she is truly an asset to our students both in the classroom and outside the class. So she's also a class advisor and also our assistant swim coach. And our assistant swim coach, to jump a little bit to athletics, they just lost in the sectional finals, the girls swim team, in historic fashion to Northern Highlands, and they, as I said to them the next day, did you do your best? They said, yes, we did. I said, that's all we can ask them. An outstanding season to Jacqueline Rivera for outside the classroom as well. So a big round of applause for Jacqueline. Becky Becky is a science teacher here at High Point Regional High School, I believe, in her 16th,
17.
I was
Come
gonna
on
say-
out of the count.
we know it's counting. We know it's counting. 17th year overall High Point. Becky is also our NHS co-advisor, which we have an NHS induction ceremony tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, the National Honor Society. Becky has challenged herself greatly over the last so many years in particular that I've seen. She's part of what we call a STEM collaborative effort with mathematics and also some tech ed teachers, Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Iacarino, and they have collaborative work that are project where their students meet on a regular basis together. This is the second year running with that project. She spoke with her colleagues, Mr. Gonzalez and Mr. Iacarino, at a national conference and was asked to come down there and speak about the collaborative STEM project that they worked on. So that's like cutting edge stuff, once again, that our High Point staff is part of in doing. And what Becky works on best is relationships with her students. She challenges her students. She expects high accomplishment of her students, but she builds those relationships along the way. She's been part of the cutting edge change of biology with our ninth graders and making that work in the science cycle. She's really been a pioneer in that department and somebody that people depend on very much so to go to and ask questions for, a resource for that department, but also a resource for us as administrators and other staff members as well. So very well deserving for both individuals. So this is Becky Starr. If you'd like to say anything, please, the floor is yours.
I just wanted to say thank you very much. I am truly honored to work with such a wonderful district. So thank you all for having me here.
Thanks for being here. And I also would like to thank all of you as well. It's been a great 17 years. I'm looking forward to 17 more, maybe. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my husband, Daniel. Without him, I wouldn't be able to do the stuff that I do here. So I appreciate him. He watches over my 3 little boys here, Sebastian, Alexander, and Gabriel. And so they all are very supportive as well. And like I said, let me do the crazy things that I do around here and go places and talk to other teachers and be able to do what I do. So I thank them as well. My mom's here too, so I have to, without her, we're really. So thank you very much. Thank you.
She's well deserving. Now, yes.
Is this still, the way this comes about is through peers?
Yes,
Were you just about to say that? Did I cut you off?
No, absolutely not. It's explain the process. So how the governor's teachers process works, they're nominated by their peers. There's 2 separate categories obviously for that, Teacher of the Year and Education Services Professional. That process starts in about December. The nominations come forward, and Mr. Carlson forms a committee this year and worked on that committee. And that committee consists of former recipients of the award as well. So they're very specific, they know the criteria, and those nominations come directly from the staff. And then that committee meets what we call a top secret vote, right? And next they'll come out with 2 final recipients that we have here. So that's a little bit of the back process, about a 2-month process overall for that. That's how that works. Okay, then they're going to go on and later this spring, we'll be recognized in a countywide ceremony as well. We'll be with many other schools across the county, which will be recognized both ESP and also the teacher for each school district that takes place later this spring. Okay. Mr. Day is okay, I continue on to the rest of the report? Okay. As Ms. Mancuso said before, which is on that side, school safety is our utmost priority. Me, John as a building principal, John as a parent, John as a community member, that is my #1 job every single day. We have high academic standards, we have high athletic achievements, we have tremendous extracurricular accomplishments as a school district. The #1 goal is safety of our students every single day. So I can stand up here in front of you and say that we work very well. Mr. Craig's in the back there. Mr. Craig is Director of Safety and Security. It's a collaborative effort. It's not just John, it's not just Mr. Craig, it's not just Dr. Ripley, it's not just the HPA. It's a collaborative effort. It takes parents, it takes partnership with the state police, it takes partnership with our student body, partnership with our staff, and ongoing dialogue about student safety and school safety all the time. Not just after a horrific event like we had on Wednesday in our country. It's an everyday conversation that we need to have. It's an everyday task that we can look at of how we can be better, what we can do better. So I just wanted to make sure reassure you of that as I've spoken to many parents and staff and students throughout the course of the last week. We are doing the best of our ability to maintain a safe and secure campus aspect of that, and doesn't always look for ways to improve. So any information you want to share with us, please feel free to share that with us. It is a collaborative effort, and it does take a partnership with all those stakeholders involved to make that happen every single day. Another couple of things I just wanted to touch on real quick is the next couple of weeks I'm going to be doing a Shadow Student Challenge again. For those of you that were not here last year, I haven't chosen yet, but I'm looking for those nominations. It's Student Challenge each year. It's a national challenge that principals across the country take up, and we actually shadow a student fully from the time they get on the bus to the time they get on the back of the bus all day long. We're a student for the day, meetings are off, backpacks on, whatever else is on, ready to go, and that's our job for the day. It gives me really a great insight into what's taking place in our students' eyes and perspective. It gives me a chance to have some really great conversations along the way. Hope I get my homework done on time. That's my biggest concern. We'll be working on that this next couple of weeks, so I look forward to that engagement as well. Because again, if you lose sight of what the students' eyes are, then you lose sight of what we're really doing. So I think that's really a great challenge. It is a big challenge for me to be able to do that. Guidance is in full schedule mode at the current time, so for your sons and daughters that are scheduling, we're moving towards the progress of building the actual 2018-2018 schedule. So minus a couple snow days here and there. We've had the 8th graders scheduling moving forward, and that's been well received. Some school and student accomplishments that we wanted to kind of highlight. There's so many each month, but I'd like to make sure I highlight a couple. One of them that you've seen, I think Ms. Anderson did respond back to that, is we had a student, Morgan Castro, who was one of only, I want to make sure I get the right number, 176 students worldwide to have a perfect score on her AP research exam. That is like phenomenal, unbelievable, fantastic, unheard of aspects of it. When I talked to Morgan about it the next morning when I got to the letter that afternoon, she goes, yeah, I got the same letter home, I don't know what that was about. And I said, this is like really, you did a good job. And she laughed, I had a good joke about it, and talked fun about her day. So she's also one of his 511 students overall. They actually AP exams in terms of AP students across the world, so that's a pretty select group that we're part of. So that we're very proud of Morgan. We're very proud of Heather Gonzalez, who is her teacher in AP research, and really all of her teachers along the way. It takes teachers all along the way to get her to that pinnacle and that establishment in career. So we're very happy with that. Calliope has had a successful last couple of weeks. Calliope is a literary arts magazine. They received 2 awards recently, both nationally recognized awards that's led by Aaron Myers and Heather Stroud. Norman Castro is one of the editors in chief in that, and we said I saw a paper about that last week, because they were also awarded at the national level in first place for the American Scholastic Press Association. Our mock trial team, county champs, again, that was a pretty intense tournament to watch. If you've ever had a chance to watch mock trial, it's engaging, it's on the edge of your seats, it's what you always hear about from the attorneys in the judges that our students oftentimes are very, very good. They're very tough to, they did lose in the regions, but again, I asked them when they came back, just do your best. And they said, yes, we're still doing our best. That's all we do every single day. Another last thing before I move to athletics is today we found out that our own Mrs. Donna Limbo was selected as Sussex County Counselor of the Year, Sussex County. So kudos to Mrs. Limbo. She did a fantastic job for us as a counselor. And she really is well deserving of that award. And she was surprised this morning she knew it was going to happen. And she was ecstatic to hear the news about that. Any questions about any of those areas before I move to athletics? Just feel okay to move to athletic report? Okay. No, it's the kind of wrapping up the winter season, so a little bit longer of an athletic report. Tonight, boys basketball is actually right now at a senior night, so we're looking at that game that's currently going on. They qualify for the state tournament. We play Lodi, I believe, on February 27th at 7 p.m. Girls basketball, Freedom Division champs. You may hear like consistency here as we talk about some of the winter sports. Earned the #1 seed for the state playoffs. The girls did. We host Ramsey on the same night, 27th at 7 o'clock. The girls play this Friday in the HWS 100 Warren Sussex tournament final against Delaware High School. That's in Sparta. Don't ask. That's how it works out. Last year we were in Phillipsburg against Newton. I don't know. That's how it happens. And Margot Peterson currently has 1,813 points. We have a school record of 1,901 points. So she has a very good chance to break that overall school record, which tells us for Harrington back today. Wrestling. Crazy week for wrestling. Freedom Division champs. North Section 1 Group 2 champs as well. Defeated Raritan. HBO was down there for that event. Wow. That's all I can say is wow. 30-25 last Sunday on the district, the Group 2 state title on the Toms River, and that was just an unbelievable team success victory. To see young adults, coaches, players in tears of joy for what they've accomplished as a team, not as individuals. It's not about being an individual yet, it's about being a team, which is amazing. To see that and see that energy come through them is very, very amazing. Don't worry at all, it's just like compliments. I have 3 girls. No apologies. No apologies. I have 4-year-old kids. So that is an exciting weekend for them. This weekend they won the District 1 title as well. This is a snowstorm on Saturday night, which we had to kind of go around at Pascack Valley. Again, the districts are in different places now. High Point had 3 District 1 champs, Brandon LaRue, Billy Talmadge, and Shane Coates, district champs. Moving on, we also had Devin Liebel, Trey Osborne placed second and third place finishers with Rob Toro, Grayson Sabo, and Andrew Lewis, who are also moving on to the regions, which is this weekend in West Milford. Maverick Liebel and Top Master are alternates with a fourth place finish, so they'll go as alternates as well. So that region takes place this weekend. West Milford, that alignment got changed a couple of years ago, if you remember that or not. We'll try to follow the math, this is where we are. Bowling advanced to Northland B State Tournament. Joe Gravinato qualified for being champions. He bowled in that, he did his best. He finished where he wanted to, that was last Wednesday, down in Oakwood, I believe it was. Swimming, as I said before, with Coach Manbera, girls and boys both had outstanding seasons, working as a co-op for Walker Valley Regional High School. The girls advanced to the finals. Second was against the Highlands, which it was a very, very close meet. And the girls also, along the way, captured the Sussex County title, defeating Coach John. Ice hockey, also co-op Walker Valley, had the most wins ever. The school issued 12 wins, and they lost to Point Pleasant Borough on Saturday 4-3 in the state playoffs. So they had a tremendous season, kind of under the radar. You don't really hear a lot sometimes about sports like skiing and skating that are off site all the time. They had a tremendous season. I want to make sure that Coach Beltran, Coach Theroff, and their staff gets credit for the tremendous that they have put together as well. Skiing, the season is wrapping up. It's going to be 70 degrees tomorrow, so why not? JV and varsity championship is this week. We have Spencer Summit and Cassie Bruni qualified for individual states. That's going to be later on at Mountain Creek later this week, hopefully. And that's in the alpine skiing. And we have successfully placed there for many, many years. Just Coach Mina and his group for that as well. Last but definitely not least, 3 events I'd like to make sure I kind of highlight for you. National Women's and Girls Day in Sports on January 29th at Seton Hall University. This is actually something that was spearheaded many years ago by Coach Bev Kerr, which has been ordered as carried it on to make sure we have a nomination for that each year. This year was Katie Padalero was the nomination for that. That took place on January 29th. It really is a great chance for them to network with other student athletes from across the state. It really is really a great experience as well for her. Next up, we have 2 things. One is the pass on senior scholarship, scholar athlete dinner at Sawyer Finland. That's on March 8th, I believe, at Corona Farms. Scholar athlete, and Sawyer is our selection for that. And then a little bit after that, we have our Morris County Chapter Football Foundation Scholar Athlete, which is a tremendous banquet held down in Morris County. And that is based on academics and athletics as well. It's very similar to the Scholar Athlete. We look at academics, athletics, and community service. Those are the 3 main criteria, and they choose, they ask for a nomination for that. Our nomination is very well done, which is Chad Vasily. That's going to be down in Morristown on March 22nd. So we have a successful winter season, team-wise and individual-wise. Look forward to more success as we finish up the winter season in the next couple weeks and get ready for spring sports. Any questions on that end of season kind of wrap up? I know it was a lot of information. I apologize for that.
Well done.
Okay, thank you very much.
I was just going to say, Becky, get out now. Get out
Yeah.
now. My curriculum, thank you all very much.
Give me a favor.
Excuse us. What a letdown. They'll all be watching me. Two fine colleagues, Board of Educators. This evening we have our academic performance report, which I reviewed with the curriculum committee, and a couple items I'd like to mention first before we begin. As Mr. Talman mentioned, students are scheduling, and
and we have an amazing selection of elective courses from which to choose from. It's a little bit complicated, but we've used social media and our digital platform to really promote our electives. Flipgrid is a social media platform that we've used a few times recently, and what we did for our elective courses is we invited all elective teachers to create a brief video with their students to promote their course. Some of them are fun, some of them are rather serious, and it's received almost 9,000 views since we launched it a few weeks ago. So I just picked one I played for you. It's 30 seconds long. Very creative example of a teacher and his students promoting their course. Full screen.
I wonder what my first day of German class would be like. Guten Morgen! Und seid ihr bereit für Fahrtensleiter? Yeah! Heute Fahrtensleiter geht um die Zugspitze! Siege sei, hoi! Ryder, bist du wach? Bist du hier? Hoi! Ach, Mensch, I missed it!
Nice. I apologize for the language if any of it was inappropriate, but I'm not sure. So it was a lot of fun. The students had a lot of fun with it, and once a couple students. I assure you, I don't plan to be that dramatic with our academics. Good, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Talman.
One of my favorites.
As I mentioned, a few things before we get to our report. We have 52 students enrolled in an SAT prep course. We're very excited. It's the largest enrollment that we've had. We believe through strong instruction, Khan Academy, and a little bit of get after itness, our students will continue to thrive on the SAT. We're very proud to have received a $10,000 grant award through Sustainable Schools. This board has approved our application for that. The money's in, and we're already at work planning on how to use it. So we're very pleased with this group effort for Sustain New Jersey. Another effort, Future Ready. We anticipate that in October, High Point will be recognized by the state as a Future Ready school. We actually believe we exceed technological capabilities of many of the schools, most schools that are already recognized. So we're excited to be putting our best foot forward and earning the recognition that we believe is appropriate. We've had some professional development and some student training. Tomorrow, our science teachers will work with the Center for Prevention and learn about the science of vaping and reflect on how they can promote anti-vaping using curriculum, talking about the dangers, the health hazards of vaping. Over the past 2 weeks, our 9th grade students had guest speakers in their health and phys ed program talking about assault prevention, and the NJCAP that provided that training also offered trainings to adults in our community and to our staff. Okay, time for our academic report. It is a statutory requirement that on an annual basis when this report is released, we present it publicly, which is what we're doing here this evening. This report was embargoed until February 16th, so it's just recently available for our eyes. It's very lengthy. It's been revised this year, and I will just give you the highlights, but I will mention publicly that a lengthier version of this will be posted to our website, and the entire report, as well as the report of every school in the entire state, is easily accessible online through just Google NJDOE Performance Report, and you can look at any school in New Jersey. I know we can't read that, but each year what I try and do is I try and show areas where we've had considerable improvement, areas where we're doing well, but we have been doing well, and targeted areas for improvement. So it's only appropriate that we start with what were our targeted areas for improvement last year. And those targeted areas that we presented, or I presented last year, were part performance, AP scores, and art participation. Part performance, we improved in English language arts. We went down a little bit in math. So not as well as we wanted to, but we did show improvement in one of the two subjects. Our AP passing rate remained steady despite the fact that yet again we increased participation and increased the number of AP courses offered by 26%. So we continue to expand. We hope that our scores will rise. But the fact that we held steady while we were expanding is something we believe is very positive. Our dynamic art, performing arts and fine arts department continue to attract students, and our participation is up and above state average. Some really strong academic performance information. SATs, I believe, for the 6th consecutive years rose, and last year they rose by 22 points. PSAT scores by 24 points. As I mentioned, AP scores remain strong in light of expansion. And in English, we improved our passing rate in 2 of the 3 English language arts assessments. So those were the highlights of where we did particularly well. Areas where we've done well year after year, our discipline continues to drop. Our dropout rate is 0.1%. So it was up close to 1%. It's down almost 900%. So the graduation rate is very tricky. We have every school has a certain degree of transiency, families that move in and out of the community. And when you have a significant volume of students moving in and out, they don't always land with their zip code in a school that credits them as a transfer. But what we're most proud of is the fact that we have almost a 0 dropout rate. Our graduation rate is just below 94%. Reminder that it was 86% back in 2012. Targeted areas for next year, and we've already begun to plan and strategize to improve in these areas. First off, our math scores in PARC, we have a plan in place that we are confident will be effective and those scores will improve. And second, we're doing an increasing amount of curricular work and extracurricular work to provide internships, career tech education, and expand that aspect of our curriculum. So those are our 2 performance indicators that we are committed to improving on for next year. These are approximately the same as last year, 16% special education, 15% economically disadvantaged. As you'll see, I think I said all 3, I apologize, or I believe I said 2 out of 3. All 3 of our English language arts tests we improved from the previous year. Math, we went down in 2 and we remained steady in 1. Again, that's a targeted area for next year. Our SATs and PSATs, very proud of our continued growth. I believe it's the 6th consecutive year that SATs have gone up. We credit that success in part to the fact that we're now in our 4th year of providing the PSAT for all 9th, 10th, and 11th grade students. And as I mentioned, our AP passing rate remains outstanding. The number on the very bottom there, I've said it in this room from this podium many times, I believe it's one of the strongest academic indicators, which is how many of your students take at least one of the most rigorous courses. And we've gone from 22% to 44%. Now there's a new figure this year, Mr. Dunn asked about this in committee. It gives every school in the state an academic achievement score. It's a new metric, so we're not extremely familiar with it. This is what the metric is comprised of. 2/3 is graduation rate and chronic absenteeism. 35% is your PARC performance. So using those 2 variables alone, we have an average number for our county, not as high of a number as we would like. We came in with a score of 44, the county average was 46. We were 5th out of 9 high schools in the county in a median range of schools that we were quite comfortable with. I believe that some of the schools, I looked at our PARC passing rate for some of the schools that were slightly higher than us, and we had a stronger PARC performance. They had a superior statistical profile on chronic absenteeism and graduation rate. So again, it's this number that all schools identify by, but it really only looks at these minimal variables. Certainly, everybody still awake? You know, when you start talking about variables and charts, you have to try and, you know, the kids are going too, so. Our art participation, as I mentioned, is up. This is fairly consistent with where we have been. But just to be clear, that's 47% of the total is attending four-year colleges and 31% of the total attending two-year colleges. We continue to suspend less students. We do have consequences. We do have suspensions and detentions and Saturday detentions. So we're very cautious when we put that up there that people don't think that that we do not deal with significant matters in a stern manner. We do. Graduation rate, as I mentioned, is just under 94%. Dropout rate we mentioned. That is our academic performance report in a nutshell. Any questions on it? Okay, all right, just a couple I know. Wouldn't be a presentation without a couple social media posts. Sawyer Fenlon being a model for art class. Students in Mr. Gonzalez's class making things. I think that's Mr. Boyku's son there. Working hard in class, as always. Labs in science are increasingly being hands-on and doing exciting things every day. I see something like this on Twitter, and I'm excited and concerned at the same time. Students just working. There's a high level of productivity. If you come in this building between 7:30 and 2:30, and you walk up and down the halls, duck your head into any room, and you see students on task, teachers in control, and quality learning. Mrs. Fasano had her brother in, he was an attorney. He was a judge in a mock trial of Genghis Khan. They convicted him. Our arts and English department are excelling. The media program is New Jersey, if not America's finest. And I don't want to shorten one out here. Just a lot of fun things every day online about what our kids are doing.
Talk about John Kaplan.
Yes, John Kappelmeyer is an 11th grade student who earned a perfect score on the PSAT in math. Now, the PSAT awards its top performers a very prestigious honor called the National Merit Scholarship. Johnny didn't qualify because he's from New Jersey, and they take the top 1%. He scored extremely well in English language arts, but not perfect. His score was so high that if he was a high school student in any of the 49 other states, he would have been a National Merit Scholar. But because New Jersey's students performed so well, he just missed national recognition. So that's a great compliment to our state, as well as to young Mr. Kappelmeyer. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we will go on to public comments on agenda item only. If you have comments, step to the podium, state your name and address. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, we will open public comments for agenda items only at this time. Each speaker should state his or her name and address. We have 3 minutes to address the board, which is timed by me. We will limit this session to no longer than 45 minutes. Please be respectful and mindful of your comments are being recorded. Anybody? Agenda items? No? Other business? Anyone? We'll move on to action items, curriculum and instruction. This is
Okay, we have 3 reports that we are accepting: the faculty attendance rate, the student attendance rate, and the suspension report for the month of January 2018. I'd like to move items 4 through 8 at this point. Number 4 is recommended that this board approve the harassment, intimidation, and bullying report, which is attachment A4. Number 5, that we approve the professional development activities listed on attachment A5. Number 6, that we approve the field trips listed on attachments A6A and A6B. Number 7, that we approve to abolish the job descriptions listed below. Number 8, that we approve the revised job descriptions listed below, which are pages long. I'm moving items 4 through 8. I need a second.
Second.
Any questions? Okay. Hearing none, we can vote on those items. Roll call.
Mrs. Carter?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes.
Moving item 9, I'm not going to read the whole thing, but this is the Future Ready Schools resolution that Mr. Campbell just explained to us briefly. The fact that it's no charge to our district and that we more than meet the criteria to participate in this, I think is awesome. And basically, we're infusing digital learning across multiple disciplines, including math, technology, media, art, science, language arts, and career and technical education. We agree to follow through the district's commitment and support our schools achieve certification through the Future Ready Schools New Jersey Certification Program. That's from Bob. I move that. Second.
Second.
Any questions? Okay.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Abstain.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Kyler?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes.
Okay. And then I'm going to move the rest of those agenda items 10 through 13. Number 10, that we approve the 2019-2020 school calendar, attachment A9. 11, that we approve the revised 2018-19 school calendar, attachment A10. Number 12, that we approve an extended school year summer program in the special education department beginning Monday, July 2nd, running through Monday, July 30th, 2018. And number 13, that we approve participation in a German exchange program through the Carousel Student Tours Incorporated. High Point will host a group of students from Waldorf, Germany, from October 15th through October 30th, 2018, at no cost to the board. Moving items 10 through 13.
Second.
Questions? Roll call?
Mr. Keel?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Kyler?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes. Personnel, done.
Certainly. I would like to move items 1 and 2. Item 1 is recommended by Superintendent of the Board of Education designating Eric Carlson as 504 coordinator effective January 1st, 2018, approved March 30th, 2018. And item 2, it is recommended by Superintendent of the Board of Education approves Kristen Fiore as a home instructor for the remainder of the 2017-2018 school year pending receipt of all required paperwork. Seeking a second.
Second.
Any discussion on those items? Roll call, please.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Kyler?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes.
Okay, item 3, we had a late change after the agenda went to print. We are removing that from tonight's agenda, and I believe that may return in a future meeting. We need to motion on any of that, or just? So then, I would like to move items 4 and 5 together. Item 4 is recommended by the Superintendent of the Board of Education approves pending clearance through High Point Director of Safety and Security. The individuals listed below as parent volunteers to assist with set construction, lighting, costumes, and ticket sales for the spring musical Anything Goes. Steve Sanyi, James D. Yadai, Paul Ransan, and Jeffrey Riker. And item 5 is recommended by the superintendent that the Board of Education approves the substitute teachers listed below for the remainder of the 2017-2018 school year. Thomas Vansky, Chris Wilson, Sarah White, Morgan Wilson, and pending receipt criminal history review and certification for those listed. Seeking a second.
Second.
Any discussion on those items? Seeing none?
Mr. Boykin?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Radcliffe?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Kyler?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes.
Okay, Okay, I'd like to move the remaining items, items 6 and 7 together. Item 6 is recommended by the Superintendent's Board of Education approves the substitute custodians listed below for the remainder of the 2017-2018 school year pending receipt of all required paperwork. Howard Jefferson and Kenneth Freeman. And item 7, it is recommended by the Superintendent of the Board of Education approves the assignment of Kate Panfield as an RTI mathematics after-school support teacher paid for by Title I at the rate of $40 per hour, no more than 3 hours per week for the second semester of 2017-2018 school year. Timesheets must be submitted. Seeking a second.
Second.
Any discussion on those last two items? Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Ancliffe?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Keimer?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn? Yes. Mr. Wojcik?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes. Okay, extracurricular group items 1 through 3 together, number 1 being recommended, that the board approve Ben Armstrong as volunteer baseball assistant for the 2018 season, pending receipt of all required paperwork. Number 2, recommended by the superintendent that the board approve an overnight trip for the rest of the team to the state tournament on March 2 and 3 in Atlantic City as listed. And number 3, recommended by the superintendent that the board of education approve and declare 20 old football shirts as a surplus. The pads have been replaced with newer ones over the past 4 seasons, and those pads will be donated to the local youth football league. Need a motion? So moved.
Second?
Any discussion on 1 through 3? Seeing none, roll call.
Mr. Ancliffe?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Keimer?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro? Yes. Mr. Keel?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn? I abstain on number 1, yes on 2 and 3. Mr. Wojcik?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes. We'll move on to policy, where there are no items before us at this time. There will be, I think there are significant policy changes over the next month. Negotiations, even though nothing before us, we'll be meeting again with EA on the 27th, I believe. I get a thumbs up from this meeting, so I guess we're good to go. Buildings and grounds, nothing before us, but I'm sure that something was discussed. I wasn't there. Is there anything close it on that?
No, I don't have anything to say. Do you have anything to say?
Possible summer upgrades we're looking at, but we're not sure yet if it's something we'll move forward with or not, but always discussing things.
Always talking about what we're going to do with buildings.
Now we move on to finance. And I'd like to group items 1 through 6 together. Number 1, recommended that we accept the report of the board secretary and business administrator, attachment G1. Number 2, that we accept the report of the treasurer for the month of January 2018, attachment G2. And we certify pursuant to NJAC 6823-2.11C3 that as of the date of the board secretary's monthly financial reports, no budgetary line item account has encumbrances and expenditures which total exceed the line item appropriation violation of NJAC 6823-2.11A. Number 3 is recommended that the board approve the report of transfers and minimum expenditure transfer report for the month of January. And attachment G3A and G3B. Number 4, recommended that the board approve the attached schedule of all of the bills dated February 20th. Attachment G4. Number 5, recommended that the board accept the agency account, adult education, athletic account, cafeteria account, principal petty cash, school store and student accounts for January 2018. Attachment G5. And number 6, recommended that the board approve readout from our media center the library books on the attached list and attachment G6. Need a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any discussion on 1 through 6? All right, roll call.
Ms. Keimer?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Keel?
Yes.
Mr. Dunn?
Yes.
Mr. Wojcik?
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Ancliffe?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Mr. Bealey?
Yes. We're going to group items 7 and 8 together. Number 7 being resolved the board of ed approve the successful completion of the superintendent's qualitative merit goal for the 17-18 school year. It's documented below. And 8. Be it resolved that the board approve the following tuition contracts between High Point Regional High attend during the following districts and retaining information as listed below. Need a motion?
Second.
Any discussion on 7A?
Can you explain what 7 is again?
You want me to do it, or you want your asking Dr. Ripley?
Either one.
Over the summer, the board approved 3 merit goals, one of which is qualitative. That qualitative was to revise and update all district job descriptions so as to be efficient and ensure that they were up to date, properly written. And last month we approved about 40%, and this evening it was about 60%. That was a process that began in September and concluded recently.
And you said the board did this?
Every year the contract stipulates the merit goals for the superintendent. This is one of the 3 that the board approved.
I'm sorry, my notes, I don't have the last summer. Do you remember the meeting where that was approved?
It was either in August or September.
I think it was August.
Any other discussion? Okay, roll call.
Mr. Notaro, abstain. Mr. Kehoe,
No.
Mr. Dunn,
Yes.
Mr. Woodkey,
Yes.
Mr. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Ancliffe,
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson,
Yes.
Ms. Kyra,
Yes.
Mr. Beal.
Yes. Transportation, Mr. Miller.
Okay, I'd like to move items 1 through 6. 1 being it is recommended by the superintendent that the board approves to award the following routes to the contractor with the lowest bid for bid number 2017-2018-02, which was held on January 10th, 2018 for special education routes for 2017-18 school year. They are listed as HPS 1704, 1705, and 1706. Item number 2, it is recommended by the superintendent that the board approves to award the following to and from route to the contractor with the only bid for bid number 2017-18-02, which was held on January 10th, 2018 for special education routes for the 2017-18 school year. That was by D.W. Clark & Sons for route HPS 1706 as listed. Item number 3, it is recommended by the superintendent that the board approves the following joint transportation agreement for the 2017-18 school year for a special education route, where the host is Northern Region Ed Services Commission, the joiner is High Point Regional High School. Next is where Northern Regional Ed Services Commission is the host, and the joiner is again High Point Regional High School. Item number 4, it is recommended by the superintendent that the board approves the following joint transportation agreement for athletic leadership conference for the 2017-18 school year, where High Point is the host and the joiner is Wallkill Valley Regional High School, and that is Q19. Item number 5, it is recommended by the superintendent that the board approves the following joint transportation agreements for the all-county band trip for the 2017-18 school year, where again High Point is the host. The joiner is Frankfort Township Board of Ed. Next is, that's for FT53, and then next is High Point Regional High School, and the joiner is Sussex Waters Board of Ed, again FT53. And lastly, item number 6, it is recommended that the board approves the following quoted contracts for trips for the 2017-18 school year for Bob Baldwin's Transportation, Q36 athletic trip, Stocker Bus Company Q37 for a field trip, Stocker Bus Company Q38 for an activity trip, Craft School Bus Q39 for another athletic trip, Stocker Bus Company MC TQ-03 for a field and athletic trip, and then lastly Havens Bus Service Q42 athletic trip. Looking for a second on items 1 through 6.
Second.
Discussion.
Mr. Dunn,
Yes.
Mr. Woodkey,
Yes.
Mr. Miller?
Yes.
Mr. Ancliffe?
Yes.
Mrs. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Carver?
Yes.
Mr. Notaro?
Yes.
Mr. Kehoe?
Yes.
Mr. Beal?
Yes. Okay, legal, we don't have any legal items before us at the moment. We don't have any correspondence. And miscellaneous, you're cordially invited to attend High Point Theater production, Anything Goes, on March 23rd and 24th at 7 p.m. Or, I think that's supposed to say and, March 25th at 2 p.m. Yes. 2 complimentary tickets are available to board members. Additional tickets may be purchased for $12 for adults, $10 for students, children and seniors. Senior citizens and children are free on Sunday. All seating is reserved, and the number is 973-875-3101. School. The graduation ceremony for High Point Regional High School class of 2018 is tentatively set for Friday, June 22nd at 6 p.m. Board of Education member, you are invited to participate. If it is your intent to attend, please complete your return to gown order form with Janet Rummel, Secretary to the Principal, before February 26th. And the High Point Regional High School Educational Foundation will be hosting a beefsteak dinner fundraiser on Saturday, February 24th at 7 p.m. For advance tickets or further information, call Alexis Horvath at 973-670-4480. I know a lot of them are going. And now we will move on to public comments for anything not listed on the agenda. The same applies to the voting tickets being addressed. And you will be timed by me. You'll have 3 minutes to address the board. Be mindful that you're being recorded. Public comments?
Yes, I do.
Deputy, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Good evening. It's Paul Ranton, 23 Elkhorn Trail, Wantage. On January 18th, my daughter fell during district chorus celebration, band celebration. She sustained a bone contusion. An accident report was prepared, and she was at a gym in play practice for 3 weeks. On January 24th, after a follow-up with the doctor, she asked what she hit her foot on. She hit her foot on what she said was a covered-up item. We drove up to the school, and we asked Mrs. Riccardi and Mr. Slanian what she hit her foot on, and she couldn't explain it. So I asked her to show us. It actually is the organ that's covered up when you come down the steps on, I think it's stairwell C. I'm not sure what the name, what stairwell it is. After that, I went to Mr. Carlson and I asked him, I told him the whole story. That's what she hurt her foot on when she came down the steps during the chorus concert, and he would look into the importance of it. On February 2nd, my wife contacted Dr. Rickley, and they had a conversation, and he assured her it would be removed. I'm just wondering the status of the removal. And you know, be aware that there is a musical going to be going on, and the organ is still, I don't know if it's still there or not. So is there any update on that?
I would have to ask the principal. I don't know. I did speak with them.
Okay.
We did state that it needed to be removed. So I spoke with your wife, and I said I assured her it would be removed. I met with the principal, the assistant principal, which point I said remove it because it's no longer utilized. I cannot, unfortunately, give you an update at this moment.
Okay.
Mr. Tommy went to the basketball game because it's senior night. But I can give you an update tomorrow if possible.
That's fine.
I'm sorry.
I just, yeah, it's just, we just don't want another accident. I think it was that she came down the steps, she slipped, and that's actually what stopped her from allowing herself into the actual risers that were there. So, just have to look at that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comments? All right, non-committee board member reports and comments.
I have that.
All right.
I've all been receiving my emails about the May 22nd. I just want to get a final assessment of what we're doing with our ethics workshop. It seems that meeting at 6 p.m. to start our ethics workshop at 6 p.m. seems to cover people's schedules the best. So what we'll do is we'll have Kathy Hellowa come to our board meeting at 6 PM on that day. And well, I'm assuming we can start as we always do in the board office. It will be open, it's a public open meeting, open public meeting. It's our workshop on ethics. It takes about 45 minutes. Following that, we'll move into this room as we always do by 7 o'clock. And then continue with our action items. And then executive session will have to be held after this meeting, the way we used to do it in the good old days. But, so that's what our plan is. Is that okay with everybody? That's, and I will email her and get it on the books for sure. I know, I'm so excited.
Kathy's one who's going to present that.
Yes, she's coming up here, she's gonna do the whole workshop for us. She says she needs a few technological things, the computer and the projector. And I said, we got that covered. We got that covered, so that'll be good. Okay.
Any other? All right, so other business, anybody? And then we'll go to adjournment. Any motion?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Mr. Anton, I don't have an update on that, but
Yeah.
unfortunately, it is still there. It will not